Hello, Trev here. I'm just going to give you an update on to some things from the Musicians Union, and more specifically, if things go wrong at gigs. So a couple of weeks ago now, I played a gig which was double booked, and I messaged the Musicians Union, who replied pretty quickly straight away and gave empathy and apologised for what I'd experienced in a double booking and not being paid. I thought it might be helpful, even though I'm just still waiting for them to get back, just to outline some of the things, some of the advice they give. So one of the things that they stipulate to give assistance, so firstly you have to be a Musicians Union member and fully paid up with the correct subscription rate. So that's during sort of any discrepancy. So you can't you can't become a member and then apply for something that happened, I don't know, a few months ago. That's not how it works. So you have to be a kind of a member around the time that the gig or whatever happened. Must relate to the member's music-related contract governed by UK law, the member's engagement or employment as a musician under UK law, or the member's own intellectual property rights governed by UK law, excluding trademark rights. So that's just a bit of jargon, really, but that you've got to kind of be within the frame of the law, so you couldn't be breaking the law. The next bits are quite useful. So the members' sound legal case and reasonable prospects of success, i.e. not only the claim is strong and cost effective to pursue, but the defendant is good for the money and likelihood of finding that the member has a sound legal case. The likelihood of finding that the member has a sound legal case may be increased if a musicians' union contract was used if available, where the written contract is in dispute, the member took appropriate expert advice, so from the musicians' union contract advice service before signing, where an alleged verbal contract is in dispute, the member confirming the agreed terms in writing before performing the contract. They're very big on getting things in writing, which is understandable. So if you get verbal contracts saying, oh yeah, if you play this gig, I'll give you, I don't know, 50 quid, or I don't know, a free bar and pay for your hotel, or whatever. So saying that verbally over the phone is not sort of legally binding. So very much big on getting things in contracts. My personal experience, lastly, it's generally on like text messages and emails and things, so that's how people tend to work with me. But I think if you get someone who wants to book you and does it via the phone or indeed in person, then do say, oh hey, can you just put that in writing? And in terms of like venues, it's really good if you actually practice that as well, if you actually if you're not trying to screw over the musicians, to actually do put things in writing. I mean, why not? If you're good for your word, then drop them a message just confirming that you're playing. So actually put things in writing, and it's really a helpful paper trail. So the reason to have a paper trail is then you're more likely to be able to pursue it later. Okay, so it says money claims should exceed £50. So what they're basically saying is if it's less than £50, it's sort of not financially worth chasing, which is sad because a lot of people will get £20, little token payments, and if they're not paid, then that's obviously still hurts a little bit, because that might just cover your fuel or whatever. But lower down in this little form, I might put a link to this form if I can. I don't know if that's breaking any copyright, but it says about the legal costs, and I'm not sure if this is just applicable to the Musicians Union or if it's sort of a bit wider, but a small claims case in England. So if the amount claimed is up to £300, then the fee is £35. So it gives you an idea, you're not going to get less than a £35 fee. So obviously chasing a £50 potential fee for £35 plus all the time you spend, it's quite a lot of time and going into it. Amount claimed between just over £300 to £500 is £50 fee, £500 to £1,000, £70 fee, £1,000 to £1,500, £80 fee. So the fee doesn't actually increase that much. So if you're talking about bigger sums, it's definitely worth it. £1,500 to £3,000, £115 fee, and the amount claimed is £3,000 to £5,000. then it's like £205. Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't increase, the fee doesn't increase that much, I would say. So if your claim goes to court hearings, you will also pay as follows, so up to £300, £27. So you might have a small claims case which charges you £35 to actually sort of apply for it, and then also if you go to court, the fee for court is £27 for up to £300. So you can see up to £300, you're already looking at, if it goes to court, £62 or something for yeah. So it's not really worth it, and I'll explain later what they recommend. So, and some more court fees, I'll put that little list up as well. Settlement of your dispute. The union expects you to consider any reasonable settlement proposal put forward if it is to continue assisting with and partially funding your litigation. So basically, they're kind of saying that really you want to be paid, and if they give you the backing to sort of complain about this with some sort of legal advice and backing, then really hopefully the person will kind of back out without taking you all the way to court for, you know, a small sum. It might be the case that things do go all the way to court, and this is why you see things like I don't know, the Sun newspaper, or Prince Harry, or Donald Trump, dare I say, where they're using a lot of the court fees, and it all sort of like, it's like a bit like a machine, so it all gets kind of used up in the process. So if you're just thinking, okay, you've been wronged, you're owed a bit of money, and you know the amount of money to get that money is more than it, then it might not be worth it. But then you get, well, some people get wrapped up in the moral side of it, or I get wrapped up in the moral side, because I'm generally not really looking at that bigger sums of money. So it's a case of picking your battles, perhaps. But yeah, the Musicians Union would advise on that, and they might advise, well, actually, it's not really worth it, and yeah, sorry for your bad experience. So one thing I did notice about the gig that I was booked for by email, someone was booked verbally to play, but they knew the kind of event organizer, and I was booked by sort of a middle person. So although I had some sort of a paper trail as such, the person that was given a verbal agreement knew the person, and yeah, it gets a little bit woolly. So getting things in writing is a very good idea generally, and if you can, so just sort of say, oh hey, can you put that in writing? That's a really good thing to do, like I say. So also when making sort of a complaint to something like the Musicians Union, they look for the paper trail, so they want you to sort of send any relevant documents, text messages with official kind of headed notepaper if it's from a company, or headed emails with the full email body intact, and then to highlight any sort of specific points in your outline, sort of what you're trying to prove, if you like. So you're trying to prove that you were hard done by, or you know, wronged, as it were, and yeah, I hope that's helpful for people that are not in the Musicians Union. Like I said, I've not really got a lot of experience in this, so I thought sharing the journey is possibly useful for people. I assume that a lot of people are affected in similar ways like this, but not everyone is trying to screw musicians over, I have to say. And there's a lot of lovely people to play with, and very genuine people, and also people that are genuine who don't perhaps understand about the world of musicians. It is worth just saying, if they don't give you a verbal contract, hey, could you just put that in writing, or could you just sort of confirm that, or could you pay a deposit? You know, asking for a deposit is a really good thing of just securing that this is going to happen, and if it doesn't happen, you're still not out of pocket, or whatever. If you've done lots of rehearsal for a gig and then it's pulled, you may not have travelled to the event, but you've also sort of used all that time, for example. So just having a bit of a communication, lots of promoters actually like that, because it just shows that you're serious about your job, and it is a job, it is work, and yeah, they're not giving you a favour by providing a stage to play on. Actually, you do need payment for all of the work you put into being a musician. Okay, well, I hope you find that video useful. Please do click subscribe, and I will keep you up to date on what happens with my particular gig, and see you soon. Bye-bye.